guys, and welcome back to another episode of On the Mic with Dr. Race, the Global Mentor Coach. And yes, we're back with another episode of Business Basics. I love helping you guys just achieve your goals and expand your brand. So I was having a conversation with my mom yesterday, and it was so impactful. I told her I was literally writing out what I wanted to share with you guys on this next podcast. And it is about working your vision. Listen, there's so much out here today that will tell you how you should do certain things, but your vision is your vision. What works for someone else here may not work for you. A lot of times we get off focused because we're thinking that we're just trying everything. The thing about trying everything is you get jumbled up and you confuse yourself. So the first thing I want to tell you about working your vision is this. Write it down. I know that seems simple, but the reality is too many people don't write it down. And when you don't write it down, you have no idea, like no clue for real as to how to stay focused, because then you think, oh, this is a great idea and this is my vision over here. No, write the vision, make it plain. You're supposed to write it down. If it's not written down, it's not happening. I tell people all the time, look, if I don't write it on my calendar, it's not happening. If I didn't write it down, it ain't happening. Write it down. I have a whiteboard, and every now and then I look at my whiteboard to make sure I'm on focus. Now, the execution might change because I'm trying different formulas, different recipes to figure out what's the right mix to execute my vision. That's different. But your vision shouldn't change because this is working for this person over here, so I need to do this over here. And this is working for this person over here, so I need to do this over here. No. What is your vision? What is your purpose, your plan? What did you say you wanted to accomplish in your business? Because that's what's going to set your business apart from the next. Your vision is your vision, and it's unique to you, your product, your service, your brand, whatever. Okay, so that's first things first. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Okay. And the other thing is, how do you execute? There's so many different ways to execute your vision. And that is sometimes trial and error to get the right recipe. I keep saying recipe because I'm a baker. I love to cook. I love to bake. I love to do stuff like that. And a lot of times, listen, the recipe is going to come out the way it's going to come out based off of several things. Ingredients. If you use crap ingredients, you're going to get a crap dish. That's just that simple. Okay. There's some things that you can kind of, navigate and maneuver, but there's a lot of other things you can't. Okay. So think of your systems, your processes, if you have a product, the quality of materials that you use, that kind of stuff are your ingredients. Okay. Have that stuff laid out, have a plan for it, have a backup plan in case your supplier goes out of business or they're out of stock or whatever. That's kind of part of execution. Okay. The other thing is figuring out your strategy to execute. That's part of your recipe plan. Okay, am I baking at 350, 325, 400? Is this something that I need to broil instead of bake? Do I need to, is this something that I'm slow cooking? You've got that. All of this stuff matters with the outcome. Okay, am I sifting the flour? If you're baking something, and I mean specifically like a cake or something that requires flour, am I sifting the flour? Am I using self-rising flour? Am I using pre-sifted flour? And if that is pre-sifted flour, do I go ahead and sift it again? Am I using baking soda or baking powder? A lot of different ingredients come together and the way you mix it. Am I alternating wet and dry ingredients? So when it comes to your marketing strategy, your social media, whatever you're choosing to do to create demand, to create value, to get the buzz out there, that's your unique recipe. And sometimes you gotta play around with it. It's like playing around with different flavors. Do I like this mango lychee lime flavor? Or do I want to throw a little cayenne in there to get a little heat in the back? Do I want to play around with turmeric and ginger? Do I like that? Do I play around with salty sweets? That's what this is when you're figuring out how to execute your vision as it relates to the different elements, because your marketing strategy, you've got to have that. How you execute your marketing strategy, that's something completely different. So somebody might have a social media plan here and it's working for them, but you do the same thing and it doesn't work for you because that just doesn't fit your brand, doesn't fit you. Case in point, I did some research on how often you should post on social media, certain times a day. And, I ran across this strategy that somebody had, and I tried it and it actually worked for a while, but then it just kind of, So I was just like, okay. And then it just kind of hit me. That was not my vision. That wasn't the original plan. So then I said, I'm organized. So if it's not on the calendar, it ain't happening. So I did a social media calendar for myself. I'm going to do this here on this day. I'm going to do this on this. That way I'm organized and I think it makes sense. And it was pretty aggressive in the beginning. And then guess what I started doing? As I realized that it was more aggressive than I could handle, I scaled back to what I could handle. And I realized that then what I was putting out, the quality, was getting me more engagement than just putting out a bunch of content every 2 hours or so. Granted, there are so many different apps and platforms and things that would allow you to schedule posts. Again, it's about the quality of the information that I was putting out and not so much the quantity. I figured out my recipe. And I'm actually okay that, I don't post every day. Okay, whatever. I realize that video is much better for me. Okay, but if I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to just post video for the sake of posting video. And I know that a lot of people will say, oh, you just got to be consistent. I'm consistent. I'm consistent in that I post meaningful content that gets meaningful engagement. Enough so much so that I haven't posted a lot in a couple of weeks. I mean, I've posted here and there, but even with the few times that I've posted, my engagement was up 267% on just one of my platforms. So that may not seem like a lot to some people, but it's a lot for me. And I celebrate small victories. That's number 3. Okay. When you are executing or working your vision, celebrate small victories. It's not about comparing your work to anybody else's. You got to celebrate it. If you are going international, for instance, and I don't care if you get one international person to see your content, celebrate that. I can tell you, I was super excited the first time I saw somebody in another country view my content. I lost it. I thought it was the best thing ever. I didn't care that it was just one person. That's one person on a completely different continent I may never meet, but they watched my content. Not only did they watch it, they watched the whole, it's like 3 minutes and 52 seconds or something. So they didn't even skip out. They watched the whole video, and that made a huge impact to me. I was super excited. I called everybody. I was like, oh my God, can you believe it? Celebrate that victory, and you keep going. You figure out what works and what doesn't work, and you just keep it going. You keep it going, but that's part of working your vision. The other thing is, use a parking lot, create and use a parking lot when you're working your vision. Why? Because as you work your vision, you're going to get more vision. The thing about vision is vision never stops, especially if you're a visionary leader. I am a visionary leader. Vision never stops to me. So I have parking lots everywhere. I'm constantly writing things down because I want to capture it. Whether it's meant for me or somebody else, I still want to capture it. Maybe it's not meant for me to execute that right now, and that's fine, but I want to capture it. Sometimes when you get vision, you think it's meant for you to execute right now. No, sometimes a perfectly good vision executed in the wrong time is still the wrong thing. That's epic failure waiting to happen. Okay? Keep your vision. It's like a running tab. I have a running tab of vision. And I'm okay with that because I know in the right time, I'm going to execute it. And if it's meant for me to execute, sometimes I have stuff and it's just like, I don't even know where that came from. But that's just really good. But it ends up being for someone else. And I'm okay with that too. Okay. So that's the fourth thing. Keep a running tab of vision. Parking lot, some of those ideas. I have so many ideas and so many different businesses, but my business coach and mentor told me you got to pick one, kid. Because if you don't, you're fragmenting yourself and you're not going to be as successful because you're splitting yourself. And as human beings, we're not meant to be split up like that. And you're going to overwork yourself. You're going to burn yourself out. You're not going to be helpful to anybody. Pick one. And he was right. Does it mean I don't do the other stuff? Absolutely not. In my spare time, I absolutely still create, because those are products. I still create, but I don't work that business. Because when this one takes off, people compliment me on the other business because I'm wearing it all the time. And it's like, oh my God, all it takes is one. Be faithful, be focused and committed, execute, boom. And you're there. 5, it's okay to regroup. Sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board. The recipe didn't turn out. Maybe you need a new stove. Maybe you didn't calculate the barometric pressure. Yeah, that affects cooking time, all that. Maybe you didn't properly calculate the altitude. Cooking in Denver, Colorado is not the same as Redlands, California. It's not the same as in Mississippi. Not the same as in Texas. All not the same. So you see a recipe, for instance, you need to kind of calculate and determine how this is going to turn out for you in your respective climate. So if you're in retail and retail is struggling right now, what adjustments do you need to make? Do you need to regroup? I said this yesterday to a group of people I was talking to, that as it relates to retail, Walmart is making some adjustments. They are trying to compete against Amazon. And if you don't know, Amazon is just like a huge virtual mall, if you will. And if you look at Walmart.com, their website has adjusted a little bit. So all their products aren't coming from Walmart. They'll tell you it's from this company, this shipper, whatever. It's same as Walmart. I mean, as Amazon. So they're adjusting. Why? Because they have to if they want to survive. Especially in that recently they just said that they're going to be raising prices due to the tariffs, the new tariffs imposed. So what are they going to have to do? They have to adjust back to the drawing board. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, positively nothing wrong with that. So when you're executing your vision, you're working your vision, the first thing you've got to do, write it down. Write it down. If you don't do anything else, write it down. Look at it, constantly review it, meditate on it. Write out your strategy, your plan for executing it. And it's going to be different. Don't, just because something is working for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And that's okay. Tweak, and tweak again, but don't tweak your vision with every whim. Keep a parking lot of new vision. It might be complimentary, or it may not. It's okay. Celebrate small victories. It's necessary. And be flexible. Do what you need to do to survive in your industry, in your climate, because it's all different. There's so much going on. You have to stay ahead of trends if you want to kind of, survive and dominate, because Amazon's killing it. So that's it for me. Another episode of Business Basics. You've been on the mic with Dr. Race, the Global Mentor Coach. Thanks for listening. If you like the podcast, make sure you continue to share it and support it. I really appreciate it. If you have any topics that you want me to cover, feel free to drop me a line at info@globalmentorcoach.com. Again, until we meet again on this fine podcast, remember to spread lots of love and light. Bye.